you run for president.
Welcome back. I'm Daniel Donaldson, and we explore social media and its power. Today, we're going to look at one of Logan Paul's podcasts where they explore something very interesting that I'd like to talk a bit more about. And it relates to the power of these influencers on these social media platforms, specifically Logan Paul himself. So let's get into it.
I was trying to think about who's running for president, right? It'll be Trump and Biden.
Trump and Biden.
Presumably.
Yes, sir.
Surely there's like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Could you please just like step up, go run as independent? You'll win.
He's acknowledging something very important right now, in that politics and anything important in humanity is about a popularity contest. So for him to just be talking about The Rock in the same sentence as potential presidential candidate is very telling. And I think a lot of people have this mindset that it's someone that they want someone that they would like, rather than someone with political credentials and a track record that would lend them more towards being a very competent prime minister or president. So for him to be talking about The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who's obviously got a massive following online, and he's developed a brand that people know, like, and trust. People are putting him in that conversation of potential presidential candidate. So Logan Paul isn't alone on that idea.
Please.
Or even,
Dude, people don't want to be president.
So that's where I'm going with this.
People don't want to be president, but I'd say a lot of people want to be influencers. A lot of people want to have the type of power and influence that the likes of Logan Paul and Dwayne The Rock Johnson have. So what does that say? That people want that kind of more flexible power, or the power that they can use in whatever way they want, rather than just the president. Can't believe I'm saying that. But people would argue that Logan Paul's influence and power in some realms is as powerful, if not more influential, than someone like the president or a prime minister or a king or queen of any country. So it's just an interesting time that we're in now, that we're talking about a very strange parallel between the old establishment and the new influencer establishment. I've just coined that term.
Someone has to step up.
Logan steps up.
So I'm too young.
He's too young.
It's a conversation I've had with a few people, actually, that the only reason a lot of people like Justin Bieber, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Logan Paul, his brother, KSI, and those people haven't stepped up is because they're not part of the old world. But eventually, the old establishment, the people that are over 35 in America that are allowed to go for be presidential candidates, and in the UK you just have to be old to be part of the establishment. But when the old guard die off or become not required anymore, this new guard will step up, and it will really change how our old setup, our old establishments are, and how they engage with the people. Because you could have a fair argument that the likes of Justin Bieber, Logan Paul, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, in any kind of poll that's not politics related, just a popularity poll, they would beat 99.9%, arguably 100% of the presidential candidates. And that's without having any kind of political bias here, but just purely based on popularity. In the same way that Arnold Schwarzenegger, with no political experience, became the governor of California, it was based on the brand he developed that people knew, liked, and trusted. And these influencers and people within social media will use social media heavily to develop their brand and their fan base. They have in abundance, and arguably in more abundance than any politician running at the moment.
But
you gotta be 35.
Yeah.
35.
but I gotta be 35. And to be honest with you,
It's a
I
lot,
can't.
man.
I can't
many-
run a country, and I can barely run a fucking podcast.
But no, fuck that. No, that's what I just said to the camera. The fact that you're the fact that you're too young is the only problem. If you're old enough, I'm gonna say another blunt statement. My thought right now, and I believe a lot of Americans would echo this statement, is that the less qualified you are for a position, the higher the likelihood you're going to get it.
Okay, wait.
As a standalone statement, that sounds absolutely insane. If you're going for any job, you'd hope to be the most qualified applicant, and that's why you would get the job. But with politics, it isn't quite as black and white as the rest of the world that we engage with. So the likes of Donald Trump, people can argue that he's got no political experience. Actually, it's an unarguable fact that he has no political experience. And the fact that he wasn't part of the political establishment is what many people said that got him to where he is now. So to extend that even further and to make the assumption that it is just a popularity contest, who's to say the likes of Logan Paul wouldn't win a presidential run? So
Wait, hear me out.
You-
I have
you-
a crazy idea.
Go.
How old are you?
35.
Do you happen to know what the presidential cutoff age is?
35.
Yeah.
Of course.
So I can't remember what Logan Paul's sidekick's name is, but that's an interesting kind of political model that they're just exploring, just very flippantly. But what's to say that you don't have the likes of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who doesn't want to be the front man of a political party or the front man of being the president, having a more politically astute running mate who actually runs for president, but can leech off of the brand that people know, like, and trust. That is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and use that brand equity to become president. Kind of like a duet of political achievement. You don't necessarily need someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with all of his achievements and what he's always doing. He works tirelessly on about 1 million projects at once. Maybe he doesn't need to be president straight away, but just to have him or a Logan Paul to just kind of establish the brand of what they're pushing forward politically. It's arguable what Logan Paul's political stances would be, but definitely there's a lot of brand to be had with these emerging stars. Well, they're not emerging stars, they are established stars within social media.
I know that because I've studied politics.
Do
Decent
it
amount.
for
Well, that's his political genius there.
America, Mike.
So you run for president. Logan will be your vice president.
I'm looking
Or-
up minimum age of vice president right now.
I don't think it should matter.
We could do
It
it. We could do
does.
this.
Oh,
Mike.
yeah?
Yep. Vice president minimum age. It says here 35. Fuck.
Well, let's just fix your birth certificate.
No,
It
hold
doesn't
on a
really-
second.
Time's
I think,
not real.
No, I think you're onto something here. Can we? I want to see how
He could be-
high.
what about a younger stage
chief
of
of
a
staff? That's what I'm
cabinet
saying.
member?
Cabinet member. I want to see how high we can get you up the poll, and I think we do this, and I think we do it right. And because here's
your
where,
running mate?
Here's where I'm really gonna fuck everybody up, and they're gonna hate to hear this. I won't be able to be the main pick of the Republican primary, but I'm gonna run as a Republican. I'm gonna run you're not gonna paint me as a fucking liberal. I'm running as a fucking Republican. I'm gonna do common sense laws across the board. I'm gonna protect your amendments.
I could serve in the House.
All right.
25 years old minimum.
All right.
I could serve in the House.
All right,
Not the
all right.
Senate. That's the big leagues. Start off in the minor leagues.
I'm canceling.
I'd be very interested if he does explore this and actually represent in the House. there's obviously different levels and different tiers within politics, but it'd just be interesting if a few of these guys, a few of these girls start to play in that ball field. And I think that will gain a lot of traction within with their followers, not just domestically, but internationally. Be very interesting.
Doing the rap album as of right now. And I'm sorry to all the people out there who are
Bro, where's my cut? Where's my pay,
for
dude?
the album.
Come on, we signed the deal. We signed the deal, Mike. You're just gonna pull the plug on this?
I already got a hit song out. Flat Boy, everybody remembers Flat Boys.
Flat
Me and
Boys.
You
Logan
should.
crushed it with Flat Boys. The Earth is Flat. One of the big
The fact that these achievements that they can just flip out, Logan Paul, professional boxer, singer, rapper, whatever he's done his own kind of movie things. Politics, just another tick in his on his CV. So they can lend themselves to anything that they want because they have the attention, and attention is all that you need to get to anywhere. If you're releasing an album, if he was releasing a classical music album, he has the following to make it number one in the classical music charts. If he wants to box professionally, he has the audience to be able to take them from his YouTube, from his Instagram, from his classical music album, rap album, whatever he wants to do, to a boxing arena and to follow him on there. So with that attention, he's able to bring people wherever he wants. So if he wants to bring them to the polls, as whether under an established political party or his own, he can do that. And I'm putting it out there that I feel that the likes of Logan Paul, Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, they'll be the ones contending for presidential candidates in the future, for that pure fact that they have such brand, such awareness, and such an audience.
biggest classics in YouTube history. You crushed it with that song.
Oh,
Incredible.
thanks.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm not-
I don't know. I also
Matt-
made it
Matt
and
was
recorded
looking at
it.
that.
recorded it. We
And
Okay, they joke on, but many a true word held in jest. It'd be interesting to see how much they expand on this idea because, as I said, they've got the engine behind them, and that's the most important thing. A lot of politicians who have had fantastic ideas and put it out to the world, they may have got a little bit of airtime, but their biggest issue is that they didn't have the audience. And further to that, even some who had an audience, the likes of Bernie Sanders, it can be argued that they didn't get a lot of airtime within established media because they weren't singing the right tune. But the likes of Logan Paul, the likes of these entertainers and influencers on all these platforms, they have a means to communicate directly to their audience. They don't need the old establishment to give them the green light to continue talking about what they talk about and drumming up even more of an audience. So it'd be interesting to know if Logan Paul has an email list, as some messaging bots or anything to be able to communicate directly with his audience's phone numbers and emails and whatever, because that would further his ability to be able to, in time, use that audience for different purposes and not be restrained by the likes of YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, to be able to communicate with them, because he's garnered a massive audience on YouTube. But in the future, when people aren't really wanting to take in that kind of content because they're 40, 50 years old and they've moved on with life a bit, how much contact will he have with them when he's ready to become president or run in the Senate or the House? So that would be interesting to know if he's creating a business model that would lend itself to be adapted in 20, 30 years time. Obviously, we can't preempt everything that will happen, but if he's exploring these kind of ideas, about running for president, he really needs to look at his business model, the model of how he's collecting his audience's information, because that is what will really give him the fuel to be able to transfer into such a different realm. As I said before, he's done it with boxing, he's done it with music, he's done it with different types of videography, audio, with his podcast, audio-visual podcast, and his YouTube channel. But if you're going into such a different realm, you have to be able to collate the information of your audiences that you've gathered all this time, not just in the terms of views. YouTube can cancel his YouTube account at any time. But if he's got those email addresses, phone numbers, internationally, that is where he'll be able to have that long-standing value from his audience. So if you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe, follow, like, and all that good stuff, because I will be doing many more of these videos exploring how social media is so important to us, and deep diving into a different level of how social media is affecting our lives and how you can hopefully use it for yourselves. Take care.